Welcome to the Sixth Sense Foundation.
All she do is choose. 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 All she do is choose.
I'm like, damn, I'm a little underdressed right now.
No, sir, you're at work. I just had to come in and fix the environment.
Absolutely. Thank you for pulling up. You like I said, you're just
Well,
absolutely gorgeous.
I tried.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you. You're handsome yourself. I appreciate you, allowing us in your space to sit down and talk to you. So this is the Art of Transition podcast. I am Dr. Erica Jones. My guest is going to introduce himself, and he's going to tell you a little bit about who he is and what he does.
Well, my name is Brandon Franklin. I'm a hat maker and founder of B.M. Franklin and Company. And yeah, our mission is to just bring education and bring the custom experience to as many people as we can and over as many products as we possibly can.
I appreciate you being here. We are right here in Buckhead, Atlanta, right across from the library in between Kahlil. And if you wonder why I have this mask on, it's because this is not just a hat shop. Brandon has stations where you can actually make your custom masks. Brandon, you can tell us a little bit about that and why you started doing masks as well as hats?
Yeah, so masks is just kind of give us an opportunity to expand on the custom experience. You know what I'm saying? I mean, masks is going to be unfortunately now a part of society, part of our life. So it's like, why not have fun with it? Why not make it fashionable? One, and then two, why not be able to customize it? Why not be able to take any kind of fabric you want, which is on display here in our cubbies, and then also on display. And also, we have three different styles that we're using. So the over-the-ears piece here that you have with the elastic, super comfortable, very thin, not as wide as some of the others, which have a tendency to pull against your ear. This here is actually custom made and done by a partner of ours. Her name is Julia, and she has a custom women's clothing company called Kiki Besu. And she came up with just a beautiful idea of this soft neoprene and also the adjustable straps here on the side.
Yes.
And then ended up making the lining satin, which is absolutely beautiful and pretty comfortable on the face. And then we have our pattern over here, which is just a bit more adjustable. It's a bit more loose. It's a bit more custom, even in the feel itself. So yeah, like I said, I mean, it's just really all about giving people that kind of creative experience. Even if you don't have a creative bone in your body, we're trying to like tickle it.
For sure. especially in a time when, like, you know, everyone just wants to make things feel like their own. You know, I felt like this one, when I walked in, like, oh yeah.
I mean, it literally works with everything you have on right now. The little pop of gold on the hardware here is popping the necklace, and
Yes.
the velvet is picking up the velvet. I mean,
I appreciate it. Added our little custom on the end here, and this is like, it was so much fun to just create really quickly. I understand that the hats take more time.
yeah.
You're doing this by hand?
Yeah, everything's done by hands. You know, there's holes in my finger and there's burns all over my arms, but that's the labor of love. You know, I always say sweat, blood, and love goes into every single one of these hats. Sometimes tear, but mainly tears of joy.
Yeah.
So yeah, the process, it typically takes about 2 to 3 weeks for us to deliver, but the process itself takes anywhere from 2 to 3 days.
Okay.
For an actual piece to be made, and it's our process is over 200 years old. It's 95% done by hand. The only time that we typically will use the machine is to sew some of the parts of the hat together, like let's say the binding at the edge of the brim, or let's say the sweatband, because you don't want them to be loose, essentially. You know, you're talking about the actual fit of your hat.
Right.
Various materials that we source from all over the world, also locally as well. Different types of trim, and again, you know, I usually say the creative possibilities are limitless, and sometimes it gets me in trouble because you open up Pandora's box. But I mean, you know, when it comes to a piece, I really love to just try to reflect the individuality and the personality of each wearer through their piece.
The Art of Transition podcast. I'm here with Mr. Brandon Franklin at BM Franklin & Co. And I wanted to talk a little bit about how you actually transitioned from where you used to be to where you are now. Because I understand you've been, you know, moving around a little bit.
Oh yeah, we've been moving and shaking. We started in New York. That's where our flagship shop is, and we started in 2014. Actually, when I started the brand. But before that, I worked for one of the oldest hat shops in New York. Which allowed me to fall in love with the craft specifically. And people always ask, like, how did you get into hats? Hats are such a crazy thing. And I mean, that's, again, just one of the many things that I love about it is that it's obscure. You know what I mean? It's obscure, but it's also very concentrated. So starting in the beginning, Ralph Lauren is where I worked for some time, and that's kind of where I fell in love with, I guess, fashion, if you will. But you know, being at Ralph Lauren is almost like being at like undergrad for real world fashion industry. You know what I mean? It's like, you can go to FIT, you can go to SCAD, et cetera, et cetera. Ralph Lauren is almost like that stepping stone. If you get a job there, that'll prepare you for things further down the road. There was actually another gentleman I met the other evening, the owner of Moda 404.
Yes.
Kwasi, met him last night.
Love
he worked
Kwasi.
for Ralph Lauren for 10 years, and we came in and we started going back and forth, like, oh, you know Tyson? Oh, I know him. And it's just crazy, the energy and the appreciation for the industry. It's people who have graduated from Ralph Lauren University, and he was there for 10 years. That was a lot longer than I. But having that energy and that appreciation, not only just for fashion, but just for details, the fine details, is what that company kind of instills in you. It's also, they instill education in you. You know, they teach you things. They teach you about the cloth that you're wearing. They teach you about the product that you're selling. And that's extremely important to me, you know, and that just kind of mindset carried over into hats. You know what I mean? Like, it's learn about the history, learn about the craft, appreciate the craft. If you don't appreciate the craft, you don't love it, then it's going to be empty. And that's my opinion, you know, and I feel like retail right now is starting to transform, and we want to be at the head of that transformation. I mean, it's essentially what we've been doing for the past, 6-7 years is providing experiential retail, you know, and instead of going in and grabbing something and walking out and not having a conversation with the person who actually is there or works there, you know?
You are the maker.
Exactly, yeah. I'm the maker. I'm one of the makers. I like to say I'm the head of the fish, but you know, we have a beautiful family. I mean, and that's one of the reasons why it's being Franklin and Company, because it's not just me. You know what I mean? It's me just trying to like spread this passion and spread this word and this education, about, let's say, just craftsmanship in general, to not only myself but these younger generations. You know what I mean? Who are used to the instant. You know, it's like, okay, you could do that with your technology, but when we're talking about quality pieces, if you're going to spend your money, spend your money and invest in something that you'll have, and that's something we'll invest back in you. You know, so again, not to be long-winded with that answer, but Ralph Lauren taught me to, the appreciation, the education of different fabrics, and then going, I left because I was like, all right, I wanted to design, and I did a couple of different things throughout the company, but But in order to design, it's a long waiting list. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
I understand.
the amount of creative freedom that one can have within that company, it's sometimes it's a little bottled up unless you're talking about your double RLs, or unless you're talking about, and then that's kind of where you have these concept brands that are attached to the PRL umbrella, where you get to. But again, you know, like I said, it was just time for me to go, and I just kind of went in search for something that interested me. So I did like a shirt making apprenticeship for a little bit, and I was like, this takes way too long. Nope. And then I ended up meeting the owner of one of the oldest hat shops in New York, and he needed some help. I saw holes in the business to where I could kind of come in and fill and really raise this thing up. And I got in there, and you know, from basically just like sweeping the floor and force my way into a position. And
let's talk about how you filled holes, and that fulfilled you, and that ultimately fulfilled your destiny.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, those holes that I was filling, you know, again, prepared me to jump out of the window and fill these holes, not only just for myself, but fill these holes in terms of, you know, let's say the market, you know what I mean? Filling and fulfilling, you know? And again, it's just like fulfilling and filling, you know, young minds, young brown and black minds with education, you know, creative education in a sense, craft education in a sense, giving them a tool that they can actually use with these so that they'll never go hungry a day in your life. You know, Grandma always said, if you know how to make something with these, you'll never go hungry a day in your life. You can always, you know, trade somebody for that last hamburger on earth and you know, and be able to give that. So yeah, you know, I mean, 2014 is when we started. I was in my kitchen hustling, getting it popping, bartending, doormanning, doing the whole thing. And we opened up New York, and then, you know, and then God opened up this door for Atlanta, you know, and we've been here for a month now, and it's been incredible. And I mean, our space in New York is not even half the size of this. It's very intimate, very. So, you know, we did a lot of work there. We did a lot of pop-up shops, you know, internationally. We did a lot of pop-up shops domestically in different states, different cities, and always received very well. But to look for a bigger space and to look for a ground floor space and to look for a space that's, you know, a storefront, New York is just, it's ridiculous. You know, you're talking $100,000. And
it's, that's you're talking right there. You're talking about New York. You're talking period.
Oh yeah.
So I want to go back to the emphasis on co, right? So you have your namesake. Okay, we have BM Franklin and Co. Let's talk about maybe how you were able to build the team, and then the resources that you use to build your team and to build your brand.
So I mean, BM Franklin and Company, again, it was this vision that I had to not basically box ourselves into, we're hat makers, you know what I mean? There's a lot of people say, oh, BM Franklin Co. hats, but then if you start to introduce another, let's say, product, people are going to be head scratching, confused, or they're not going to necessarily believe that that's your specialty, you know what I mean? So we want people to be kind of enamored by our quality, by our craftsmanship, and knowing that anything that comes from BM Franklin is going to be dope. You know, it's not going to be like BM Franklin Co. hats, or they're only hat makers. So if you go get one of those bracelets, or you go get one of those hand sanitizers, one of those masks, not really sure, it's not their specialty. You know, a friend of mine who's upstairs right now helping us build our workshop out. You know, did the frames that are looking down on us, and you know, again, he's like a brother to me. Ultra talented. One of the most talented artists. These are handmade. Yep, by Ivan Arama.
Wow.
Yeah, Ivan Rama, look him up. He's an incredible artist, like I said, just multifaceted as well. So he does furniture, you know, he'll do crazy art tables, you know, and then he'll do actual sculptures. He'll also paint. It's incredible, you know, and again, like I said, I'm lucky to have him and call him a brother. You know, another gentleman, you know, and Carlos J is another incredible artist who helped come in here and, you know, bring my vision to life, and then also kind of give his, you know, a bit of artistic flair. He made the sculptures that are here, and also over there, because we didn't want to have mannequin heads in here. So I challenged him and said, listen, I know you're a painter, but like, get busy. We need some mannequins, get busy, you know? So again, building a family, I mean, it hasn't been, let's say, under BM Franklin Co., but building a family of just amazing creatives, amazing entrepreneurs, and just and confident black and brown people, in my opinion. You know what I mean? It just didn't buckle stop there, obviously. People of all color, you know what I mean? Spirit doesn't have, you know, skin or color. So, but yeah, I mean, going forward, when it talks about, when we're talking about and Co., you know, we're trying to build a family here, you know, and we're trying to build longevity. You know, when I'm gone, people are still going to know what BM Franklin and Co. is. And it's not just going to be all about me, you know?
For sure. I'm just like in awe when we stepped into the space. We're like, oh my gosh, like this is beautiful. These masks are beautiful. Like I can't wait to like, conceptualized the hat that I want. I can't wait to like actually get down to the nitty gritty and like, okay,
Absolutely.
this is something that you put thought into.
Yeah, thought, honor, respect, integrity, energy.
Yeah.
This is something that, and again, like, I'm also just another, when it comes to just experiences, it's multi-sensory. You know what I mean? You walk in and you smell like, this is okay. All right. It doesn't just smell like the store got cleaned or sterile or anything. Like you're smelling something with depth.
Character.
Yeah, there's character to it. Like, I smell leather. I smell vanilla. I smell honey. I smell. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to touching, touching different materials and fabrics, and obviously seeing. There's so much to see in here, but everything is also just kind of cohesive in a sense. It's built to tell a story about who we are and what we believe in.
That is what I really appreciated about walking into the store. Like, I could actually touch something.
Yeah.
This is not like a museum, like, hey, don't touch anything.
Bingo.
Like, this is something that you can actually touch and feel and smell and actually build a connection with.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's funny that you mentioned that word museum, because that's exactly what I say to people at all times. Like, people will walk in, and a lot of people walk in literally because just because we're in Buckhead Village, you know what I mean? And you got the Kahlil over there, you got the Hermes over here, things you have to, hey, can you get this out of the case for me?
Right.
Well, are you gonna buy it? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
no. Like, we don't want this. So people come in and have their hands behind their backs and they're looking, and I'm like, listen, this isn't a museum. That's exactly what I say. I want you to touch, feel, smell, activate all your senses. Don't taste anything. If you want, we can get you some in the back if you're really hungry. You know what I mean? But that's the thing. Just activating all of the senses and just kind of ticking them and make, this is interesting. Let me, and then that just kind of like warms and prepares people to, let's say, get creative or want to get creative, and then that translates into, a hat and sales.
Yeah. Man, I definitely
Which vibes are important, but sales are too. No.
I appreciate your energy. I know we are filming this around the beginning of the month, so I know how busy you are. I just want to make sure that I thank you.
Absolutely.
Like, I have so much gratitude for the
Absolutely,
time that you spent with me today, and like, I'm excited about my mask. I already know I'm gonna get like, I don't know how many compliments. I'm gonna give my card. How many books am I gonna sell? Just from like, hey, here's my card. Thanks for the compliment on the mask, but here, buy a book.
Absolutely.
Check out the podcast.
Absolutely. We'd love to have your book. I'd love to buy a copy.
Yeah.
Definitely
Okay.
need a copy in here for sure.
Cool. So I just appreciate you so much. Tell the people how to find you.
Pull up 256 Buckhead Avenue between Hermes and Kahlil, Atlanta, Georgia. And if you're up north, if you're in New York, pull up to 368 Broadway, Suite 311. You're going to cruise down a long, beautiful hallway and then hop into an amazing cubby hole of hat making. Instagram is BM Franklin Co. That is our digital lookbook, digital catalog, digital business card. So jump on, follow us, BM Franklin Co. We're also on Facebook. We also have a website, bmfranklinco.com, where you'll be able to see not only samples, but just custom pieces of the past.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Dr. Erica, thank you for gracing us with your beauty and your presence.
It's been a pleasure.
Welcome to the SIXSENSE Foundation.